the last home tour video, I received some enquiries on my Taobao furniture haul, so I thought I'll do a more thorough review on them this time round. In this video, I'll give a rating and talk about the pros and cons for each piece of furniture. So without further ado, let's get started. Our TV console is 60 cm tall. A reminder not to get a tall console like this if you want to mount your TV. What I like about this console is the color and the curved rattan details. We only need to drill in the legs for the assembly, and the drawers and cabinets are really spacious. If I try to be picky, I do wish that the edges of the console can be curved as well. And do note that the workmanship of the back and the bottom of the console doesn't look as good as the front, but it doesn't really bother me since it's hidden. Overall, I'll give this a 9.5 as it is simply what I was looking for in terms of the aesthetic. In my home tour video, I mentioned how much I love this coffee table. There are definitely many cheaper options than this on Taobao, but this piece is actually the one with the best quality out of all my furniture haul. I love the curved edges, the extra storage below, and also the tarzo pattern that is really clean and it looks good with just simple styling. The only downside, if I were to be picky, is that it is kind of small at 90 cm. Buying fragile pieces comes with its own risk, so please make sure you engage a trustworthy 3PF with good reviews so that they will all come in one piece. I'll give this a 10 out of 10. I'm not really sure if this armchair is made of rattan, as the material is actually softer and more closely weaved together. It is beautifully made and I can't seem to find any fault on it. It may be a little bit low for old folks to get up from if they sit down on it, but other than that, this is a good buy and I give it a 9.5 out of 10. This side table actually came with the armchair in a set, but sadly it came broken. It was actually really sharp, so I almost cut my hand. So try not to open up the furniture with your bare hands, especially if they are crated, because there might be splinters. So I was advised to glue it up, but I just tape it up like that and try not to touch it. I have to give this a 7 out of 10 because it's broken, but otherwise it's actually really a nice side table with the reed glass and rattan. Now let's move on to the sofa, which I have a love-hate relationship with. Let me name the good points first. Firstly, the seats are very wide and deep, so it's pretty comfy to sit or even lay your whole body on this sofa. You won't feel like you're going to drop off because it's really spacious. It can seat 3 people despite being just 1.8 meter because of the design, and it is really cheap at just below $400 before shipping. However, the quality of the sofa is a little bit worrying as we had problems screwing in the legs as shown here. We had to borrow a stronger drill from our fan installer to forcefully drill the legs onto the sofa. So sometimes when I sit on it, I do get reminded and get paranoid. But anyway, the sofa is actually made of false leather, so we don't expect it to last for years, so we might just change it once we save more money or when it spoils. And I'll still give it an 8.5 out of 10 because I like the design and I like how it saves money for us. You have probably seen our collapsible table from our previous video. We like how it makes us less lazy as we have to open up the table, take out the chairs, put back the chairs whenever we have guests. We also like the 2 mini drawers, which help to make our masks and test kits very accessible. But it has some downsides. Firstly, when we push it around, the 2 table flaps actually create some noise, and the stabilizing function of the wheels to stop the open up table from moving around doesn't seem to work now. We are not sure if it has something to do with our uneven vinyl flooring, but I still recommend this to people who like space-saving furnitures. So let's move on to these rattan high chairs. First of all, I like how wide and high the backings are in comparison to some other designs I've seen on Taobao. So it helps to better support our backs when we are sitting down. However, I can feel some loose rattan ends on the chairs, and do note that the white painting on the chairs may fall out or get scratched over time. I remember that the packaging of these chairs was pretty bad and torn, so my 3PF actually informed me and helped to secure them before shipping. Overall, I still recommend these chairs because they look good and they serve their purpose, giving it a 8.5 out of 10. So I also got this really cheap rack to serve as an extra counter space and also to house my extra appliances. We do have to assemble this ourselves, and the quality is kind of below average, and I kind of wish that there's a gap from the floor to the last rack so my Roborock can go in and clean the floor. But overall, what you pay is what you get, so 8 out of 10 for this cheap but functional rack. Honestly, I do not have any complaint for this wooden cabinet. Probably only the fact that we have to install the legs ourselves, but other than that, I'm really pleased with this purchase. Okay, just listen to me knocking the wood to prove its quality. If you want to put just mugs and cups in this cabinet like me, probably you may want to get a divider to split the shelf into two to put more things in it. I'm giving this a 9.5 out of 10, highly recommended. Not really considered a piece of furniture, but I also got these wooden shelves from Taobao. I think it's a good choice as there are many options and designs to choose from, and the quality are all pretty decent. I'll put the links of these shelvings in the description too. I must say that I'm still pretty impressed by the design of this mirror cabinet. Not only because it is really functional, but did you also realize that there's a small mirror inside the cabinet? So you can actually just leave the door open while doing your makeup without closing it for the bigger mirror in front. There's also a lock and key in case you put some expensive items inside, and at the back, there are more storage spaces for the bigger items you need. However, there's also downside to this piece of furniture. For example, there are too many space and hooks for necklace and bracelets, which I don't have a lot of, so I had to buy these tiny bags to actually create more space for cosmetics items. It is also pretty disappointing that the acrylic boxes that comes with the mirror actually have some scratches on it. The boxes can't be removed, so I can't ask for a replacement either. Also, the bottom corners of the mirror are actually quite sharp, so there's a chance that you might get hurt by it. So those with young children might want to think twice if you are interested in this piece. Overall, I'll give it an 8. Let's take a break and let me share more about Home Trust, who has kindly sponsored this video. Home Trust is a Singapore trusted community review site which offers advice and feedback from hundreds of reviews for homeowners and hiring design firms. There is a great filter and search function for you to search for projects based on your requirements, as Home Trust takes pride in promoting discovery and sharing of information in their ever-growing body of knowledge. You may also be very surprised to see really honest reviews from individuals. We all want to avoid irresponsible ID companies for our renovations. You will be glad to know that Home Trust take their reviews seriously and don't allow individuals or entities affiliated to a firm to publish any review. And now, let's go back to today's video. We love the color and design of our chest drawers, and we actually replaced the original knobs as we had some leftover knobs. So it's a tip that you can actually play around with your top of furniture like this for a different vibe for your furnitures. The drawers of this chest is actually smaller than what I expected. I have to warn you guys that this piece was really difficult to install. It just came in planks like this, and there's only one sheet of instruction that was completely useless. So a handyman actually quoted us 200 to fix this up because he actually installed it before and think it's really difficult. But we decided that it's 2/3 of the original cost is too expensive, so we went ahead to try it ourselves. We took one day. It was pretty much like hell. So for each piece of Taobao furniture, you have to decide for yourself if it's worth it to hire a handyman or to fix it yourself. But because I really like this piece, so I'll still give it an 8 out of 10. The bed tray was a very impulsive buy. I do use it for reading and also photo taking sometimes. But as I look back at the price, I do feel that it is a little bit overpriced. There are plenty of cheaper options at IKEA and other places, but I still like how it looks, so I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Finding a bathtub for our tiny toilet space is a little bit difficult. A lot of them I saw on Taobao are actually 80 cm, which is too wide for our bathroom. I went through a lot of listings before finding this one with the perfect width. However, it was too short, so we had to build a ledge to cover the gap. Before buying a bathtub from Taobao, please show the listing to your contractor and get them to ensure that they are able to install it. One downside of this bathtub design we've gotten is that the capacity is pretty big, so we have to actually fill it up with a lot of water. We also had to get a storage heater with a bigger capacity. But other than that, I do recommend you getting your bathtub from Taobao because it's much cheaper. I actually have first-hand experience using lights I've gotten from Taobao before this BTO, and for many years the lights just work great, so I knew that I wanted to get all my lights from Taobao this time around too. I chose mainly the 3-tone function for most of the lights, but I believe that you can upgrade to the dimmable function with the remote control too. I didn't ask my 3PF to crate up my lights, but I did ask them to secure the packaging. Thankfully, none of them came broken, and I highly recommend you guys to look for lights on Taobao. I also got my bathroom mirrors from Taobao. This black mirror cabinet, it was really cheap, but the quality obviously wasn't the best. The sound of the hinges is just really loud when I open it, and even when I close it, there's still some screeching sound. This is my least recommended item, giving it a 6. However, I'm giving this arch mirror a 10 out of 10 because it is really beautiful and it is a great deal. Crating up your mirrors doesn't mean a guarantee that they won't be broken, but you might just want to pay for that extra protections to prevent any regrets. I'll talk about the taps and the toilet fittings together. My kitchen tap has been great. I've been raving about it, so highly recommend it. Link is in the description below. My only complaint for the shower head sets is that if you don't turn back the shower head to the tap mode, the water will still drip from the shower head. So it's an extra step to do. The tap and sink in the common toilet are working fine. However, the stopper of the sink in the master bedroom toilet is actually faulty, but I think it's not difficult to find a replacement. I've heard about black coatings falling off from the fittings over some time, so I try to avoid ridiculously cheap ones on Taobao, hoping that the quality will be better. I do recommend you guys to get your fittings from Taobao if you are on a tight budget, but if you have a bigger budget, you might want to get them from the bigger brands locally for better quality items. Before ending this video, I would like to emphasize on the importance of getting a trustworthy 3PF to ship your items. The 3PF I used was on the more expensive side, but they are responsible and most of my items came intact due to their packaging. It is also important to read on the reviews of the items, and usually the cheapest ones compromise the quality. So please judge by yourself whether an item is worth it. See you guys in the next video. Bye!